Hello, this is Anton Hopfel for MANAPA. And this is a quick recap of today's trend from the big picture preparation hypo number 1 today. So what we see now is we are set for a long trend, and my hypo number 1 was with this move of the value up to the level from 137 as 73 76 sorry excuse me to 173.85 we see acceptance in time price, and here also in a quite heavy volume for the pre-market session in the time measured from 8 to 9 o'clock. So normally the volume traded here isn't just massive like you see here in between 820 and 826. So I said in the stream that around here we see now acceptance in the clear wedge consolidation kind of structure and build value around here. So when we're looking two scenarios, this is the acceptance if we try to push lower and see rejection, absorption, and followed by active market strong buyers proven by the volume, we can go for the long, because buyers long then here, big picture long, and also risk reward, you can measure it on the micro level here, small, and you have opportunity for at least 2-to-1 risk reward. But also, this is important, looking at the big picture, a cheap entry for possible trend, long trend continuation if you're trading more contract. So what we want to see after the open is first what we saw. What we saw was that the participants, the market participants, tried to push lower. We see this here. A decrease of volume in the tries of buying the market higher. So you see that this is the delta, this is the ask bid difference. And you see here, they trying to push lower and first got absorbed at the level 78. And we will have a look at this also at the micro level. Here you see the try of getting lower, 442 contracts hit the bid but got absorbed. 259 contracts before here hit the bid, got absorbed. A little bit lower, and then only interest of selling of 43 contracts, which leads to prices going back at 78 and find more active buyers, 658 contract here, and people going back active buying the market. For me, this was the moment I was looking to open up and wait to open up for the position if the sell pressure still holds on to not exist around lower than 78. So at 77 here, again, you see almost no selling into the bid, but still interest of buyers, which you see here because delta rose. And here again. So I said, let's open up. I tried to get a cheap entry. This is in my case, in my play, I try to get in 2 ticks above the extreme of this pressure. So I tried to get in with a limit order here in my case. You don't have to play it the same, but I got in then at 173.79. You can see this here, where then I told you that I'm looking here and I'm open up. So what happens next? First, the buyers fail. We got 2 ticks up after it at 81, and see there was also absorption on the upside. The people that bought in here, 184, 17 and 113 and also 80, they first got absorbed. So you see, again, we fall back. And this was a huge approach. Almost 900 contracted got sold here into the 79. We go again back to the 78, And then 77, the same procedure, the same thing. We see a lot of sell, we know we have a tight stop. In my cases, I'm working here with a 4-tick stop. This is at 75. At this time, my stop was at 75. And now look at this. You see the same thing. Okay, we sell, we get a little bit of absorption. So we see that the buyers a little bit stepping up, a little bit increasing the density of the order book on the bid. But you see, still, only 13 contracts. They sell in only 13 contracts into the 77. So the pattern is the same. No selling interest at 77, still absorption, bulls, bear fights, they can't go higher. So right now, to be honest, at this very moment, I don't know if this trade gonna work out or nothing. But I see objectively there's no need to go out, because as long as it is this way, if this pattern, this kind of interest of order book doesn't change, it's no need to hurry to get out of it. And of course, you don't know, and you don't have to know what happens next in trading to make money. You only have to have your statistical knowledge and have to have a play to make money with it if it plays out. And this should happen. This should happen more often than you lose. Of course, also important is the risk reward. If you always risk 10 ticks and only have a profit from 10 ticks, then it's only a 1-1 situation. In my case, we said if we get in here and at least go into the edge of 84, 85, we have about 5 to 6 to 3 or 4. So this is about 1.5 to 1 risk reward. And we have the chance for ongoing trend continuation. So what happens now? I was in a trade, of course. I'm also nervous at this moment, but trying to stay calm. And we see now it changes a little bit. We see 28's contract is still no interest of selling. And then buyers coming back. So this was the second opportunity for the more conservative entry. In this case, you see they flipped again, tried to go deeper, try to push the people out of their longs, but they failed because the power of the buyers were bigger, as you know right now, not before. Now see they come back, 247 contracts, they paying the offer, and they paying it also at 359 contracts, the offer at 80. And now, nobody knows. We see a third time. You could have been entered maybe only 1 or 2 minutes before, and you would have been in the same situation as I was, who entered with my trigger at 9 o'clock and 2. So, but anyway, it's still the same thing. This time we see a more aggressive approach. This time they trying to sell deeper, and this time, the first time, they sell on the 77 with more than 344 contracts. But in this case, now it's so tight, I decided to not go out of the trade, because I saw, now time is on my side also, I saw that the buyers are here, and I see that buyers and bulls are always fighting for this level, which is absolutely normal. Yeah, they do so. But you see also, now they hit the 76, but only 3 contracts got sold. So it doesn't matter for me now, because the time was on my side. I was invested, I made the decision, and I said, for this time, they haven't knocked the buyers out. So there's no reason for me to flatten this position. So what happens next? You see, next half minute, the same thing. We just hit the bid and got 1 tick lower. Nothing else. Nothing else happened. This is still in my tolerance room. Why is it? Because this is a clear situation. No, this is a clear structure. This is what I'm talking before. You see the structure is 76, 77. For me, the low of the structure, for everybody you can see it, is 76. So that's the reason why I decided to go to the 75 with my stop. What happens next? So you see no more interest, and the buyers are right now not so super confident, but the sellers are neither. They're not here. A little bit. But it's a little bit more a balanced situation now. And now what's happened next? I knew that if we see now the push on the upside and see that the 81 is finally taken out, this is the level of the micro consolidation, we have a good chance. Okay, let's see what happens. You don't know, you're not in control of it. You just watch, you make your decision, and I watch. So what we see is now we are able to build a little bit more wedge consolidation on the upper side of this at the moment consolidation. So we wait up and see that there is no more selling interest now lower than 78. So we see now for 2.5 minutes no more selling below 79. Okay, there is selling 24 contracts at 78 in 2 minutes. This is nothing. Nobody cares. And they grown. As you think as a trader, as I think, observing this situation, what else why should they think different? If you risk in the book and you have now a chance and say does the seller a little bit more disappear, or that even are not able to push it now back lower than 78, and you're still interested and still have the buying power, now you take on the second time. And this is the second time they tried, and now they're able to take out the high of this microstructure. They made the 82. At this moment I said you can now, for me, I pull my trigger now at 77. This is one tick below this micro low of the structure. So that means that I have only a risk, no more risk than 2 ticks what I can lose in this trade. The trade went on, and we see a little bit pullback, and we see immediately buying interest at 70.90 once they pulled back to the VWAP. Okay? And then we see they push it up, and they made it at this moment when they get to the VWAP and went higher again. This wasn't, of course, not like in the replay within a second. It took a little bit, but you see first they took out the 81 and then the 82. At this moment I said in the stream that now you can pull your and you stop on scratch, so at the entry level at 79. At this moment you knew you don't have to lose more than your market fees, whatever you have to pay with your clearing or broker. So this was the trend. This was the trade, and you see it's not magic that they use this marks, this volume edge at this moment again for the reaction, for taking profits. You see this was the at the moment value, and you see this was the value edge. This is why I put my limit target here at 84 and not at 85 or at 83 or 82. This is the edge. I know if they can make it, 70% probability of making to the other side. So I played because I need this. Math wouldn't work for me if I don't took the whole streak, because this is what my risk reward was calculated. So no matter what, and then you see they tried it a second time and now feeling comfortable around the at the moment PUC before they went back to the range low. And yeah, that's it. This was my trade from the open of today's Bund on July the 3rd. Thanks for watching. Anton Apfel for MANAPA.